Breaking tonight, a deal in the U.S. Senate to end the country's longest-running government shutdown. Good evening. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Claudine Wong. The U.S. Senate just passed legislation to reopen the government. A senator in the West was key to making that happen, but the legislation still has some way to go before the government is back up and running. Tonight's final vote in the Senate was 60-40. Democrats have insisted a deal must include an extension of expiring Obamacare subsidies. Republicans promised to hold a vote to extend those subsidies by mid-December, but there is no guarantee of an extension. Earlier today, President Trump appeared to be in agreement with the compromise.
The deal I heard about, that's certainly, they want to change the deal a little bit. We have support from enough Democrats, and we're going to be opening up our country. It's too bad it was closed, but we'll be opening up our country very quickly.
Nevada Senator Catherine Cortez Masto is one of the Democrats who broke ranks and voted to allow the Senate to move forward on legislation to reopen the government. She emphasized the impact to travel has been particularly harmful to her state. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says Democrats intend to fight the legislation when it gets to the House.
We're not going to support partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people. And we're going to continue the fight to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. And if it doesn't happen this week, next week, this month, next month, then it's the fault of Donald Trump, House and Senate Republicans, who continue to make life more expensive.
Today, the Trump administration asked the U.S. Supreme Court to keep full payments in the federal food aid program frozen until the shutdown ends. Fox 10's Ashley Rodriguez reports the legal back and forth has some SNAP recipients rushing to spend the money that was put into their accounts late last week.
A whipsaw approach is how the Trump administration's latest decision on SNAP benefits is being described.
On again, it's off, it's on, it's off. And, what are the states supposed to do?
Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays and dozens of others went to the courts over the weekend, blocking his latest move, which reverses partially funding SNAP. Take a look at the timeline. October 1st, the government shuts down and SNAP is frozen. Then November 3rd, President Trump says SNAP will be partially funded. A number of states, including Arizona, began the process of issuing benefits. But this weekend, the USDA put out a memo saying states must undo SNAP benefits that were already paid out in full or face consequences.
We were working on this all weekend. I had our lawyers working on this all weekend, trying to figure out what the Trump administration was saying and then what it wasn't saying.
A woman who just received her SNAP benefits this month told me she feels pressured to spend the money loaded on her card quickly.
Yeah, it's confusing. What are we supposed to do? We don't take them back.
Governor Katie Hobbs responding to the back and forth, writing, "Stop with the endless confusing directives. Arizona families are sick and tired of being used as political leverage by politicians in Washington, D.C., who don't give a damn about the problems faced by them and their families."
It's whiplash, it's confusion, it's chaos. It's a very difficult situation. And I would say to people, you have the money on your cards, do what's necessary for your family.
And that was Fox 10's Ashley Rodriguez reporting. Today, Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs announced the state will put another $1.8 million into programs designed to help SNAP recipients. Most of the money will go to food banks. $300,000 will go to a program that allows families to get a voucher to buy fresh produce. States across the West are taking similar steps to help SNAP recipients. And the shutdown will force the cancellation of 6% of flights across the country tomorrow. This is a live look of activity outside Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, one of the 40 airports where flights are being reduced to help airports manage an airport worker shortage. The percentage of flights being canceled each day will increase to 10% by the end of the week. Many flights were delayed by as many as 5 hours in Chicago yesterday. Some travelers at Denver International Airport today said they were doing the best they could to navigate the widespread flight disruptions.
We were to fly back yesterday and our flight was canceled. In spite of the stress of traveling and the delays and the pressure on the people working, everybody remained calm and polite and kind of figured there's nothing we can do about it, so make the best of a bad situation.
Stay. Yeah, no issues, no cancellations, no delays. Whatever your thoughts on the shutdown. I mean, people have to work, people have to eat. right? It's not fair that air traffic controllers can't get paid.
Tomorrow will mark the second time air traffic controllers have missed a full paycheck during the shutdown. With the plan to end the shutdown, things may be back to normal in the coming weeks. But Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says if the funding bill does not pass, things will get worse in the run-up to Thanksgiving.
As I look 2 weeks out as we get closer to Thanksgiving travel, listen, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have air travel slow to a trickle. As everyone wants to travel to see their families, I think we're going to see air traffic controllers, very few of them coming to work, which means, yes, you'll have a few flights taking off and landing at our different airports across the country. But the thousands of flights that happen every day to move people around the country for this great American holiday, it's not going to happen. You're going to have massive disruption.
Now, President Trump has suggested penalizing air traffic controllers who are taking time off during the shutdown. He also recommended paying $10,000 bonuses to controllers who have been showing up without pay. Our coverage of the ongoing shutdown continues online. Just head over to westcoastwrap.com. Some of what you'll find on the website includes a breakdown of what could happen to people enrolled in the Affordable Care Act if a deal to end the shutdown does not include a renewal of expiring health care subsidies. Arizona Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva says she's traveling to Washington to finally be sworn into office. Now, she says she's learned through House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries that House Speaker Mike Johnson plans to swear her in after a weeks-long delay. The Congresswoman-elect won her special election in September. House Speaker Mike Johnson initially said she could be sworn in as early as October 7th. Then he said she would not be sworn in until the shutdown ends. Critics have accused Speaker Johnson of delaying her swearing in because she could be the final vote needed to release files tied to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And Congresswoman-elect Grijalva issued a statement on the matter saying in part, this delay never should have happened in the first place. For 7 weeks, 813,000 Arizonans have been denied a voice and access to basic constituent services. This is an abuse of power that no speaker should have. The exact date of her swearing in remains unclear. And Mexican consulate workers in Phoenix say ICE agents are getting help from the Pinal County Sheriff's Office. The consulate posted to social media that deputies are helping agents with immigration enforcement that's in the Queen Creek and the Suntan Valley areas. Now, it advised people to avoid traveling in those areas and to carry valid ID at all times. We reached out to the Pinal County Sheriff's Office for a comment on that post, and we are waiting for a response. And a hearing took place today in a San Jose, California courtroom in a lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's policy of arresting immigrants at courthouses. The court is considering whether to certify the case as a class action lawsuit. The judge heard arguments on a motion challenging the White House's use of short-term holding cells for prolonged detention and also the conditions of holding cells at San Francisco's ICE field office. The plaintiff's attorneys described them as inhumane, unsafe, and ill-equipped.
I understand there's concerns of timeliness and the allegations of ongoing unconstitutional conditions, so I will move to act as quickly as I can, but I'm going to take the motions under submission today, and I'll aim to get a decision out as soon as I possibly can.
Now, that motion targets an ICE decision in June to waive its own 12-hour limit on detentions at temporary holding facilities. All right, there is tight security at UC Berkeley tonight. That's where Turning Point USA, the conservative group founded by the late Charlie Kirk, is holding its final campus visit of the season. Now, take a look at your screen. This is a live look at the school where crowds have been protesting for hours tonight, and protests are ongoing right now. Now, earlier today, you could see some of the scuffling as protesters gathered and people lined up to get inside. We are told that 2 people were detained. Kirk was shot and killed in September at an outdoor event at Utah Valley University. UC Berkeley has stepped up security for this indoor event. Opponents say that Kirk's values are not those of the university.
We want to make clear that we're not going to be intimidated, and this is not the campus to do this on.
The campus fully supports the rights and ability of every single student organization to invite whatever speakers they wish, regardless of their beliefs or perspectives.
Comedian Rob Schneider is the host tonight. The president of the Cal chapter of Turning Point USA says the event is sold out. Well, the driver of a stolen minivan led police on a chase that lasted hours and went through multiple Southern California counties. But tonight, that driver is still not in custody. Details on how she got away.
And a live look here over the San Francisco Bay Area, where a stretch of summer-like weather is coming to an end. I'll have a look at what we can expect here in the West coming up.
And tense moments at a town hall in Idaho leads to charges against security guards. But what did the state's attorney general decide to do about the sheriff involved? That decision next.
Excuse me, Sheriff Norris. This gentleman is assaulting you. Out this now. Man is assaulting me. Now. Let's go.
Update on these tense moments from a town hall meeting in Idaho. The state's attorney general has declined to file charges against Kootenai Sheriff Bob Norris. Sheriff Norris ordered private security guards to forcibly remove a woman who was heckling speakers at the Republican Central Committee event in February. The attorney general's office has concluded that the sheriff did not act in, quote, bad faith or with malice, and criminal charges would not be appropriate. Prosecutors in northern Idaho filed misdemeanor charges, including battery against the 4 private security guards involved in that incident, and the guards' trial is set to begin in October. A judge has rejected a motion to dismiss murder charges against Fraser Michael Bohm, the man accused in a deadly crash in Malibu 2 years ago. Prosecutors say Bohm was speeding when he slammed into 3 parked cars, killing 4 Pepperdine students who were walking together along the shoulder. Defense attorneys call it a tragic accident, but prosecutors say Bohm drove recklessly, more than 50 miles over the speed limit on a stretch locals call Dead Man's Curve. That case is moving forward to trial. And 20 people were hospitalized after a bus carrying teens and young adults returning from a church camp overturned on a winding mountain road in San Bernardino County. Officials say the bus with 36 people aboard crashed last night on State Route 330. That's near Running Springs, about 70 miles northeast of Los Angeles. 3 people suffered major injuries. That group was heading back to Orange County after a church youth retreat in the San Bernardino Mountains. The president's pardoning of allies who attempted to overturn the 2020 presidential election won't stop an Arizona corruption case against more than a dozen people. Today, the president pardoned allies, including former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, former Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and former federal prosecutor Sidney Powell. He also pardoned so-called fake electors indicted in Arizona. They're accused of being involved in a scheme to falsely show former President Trump then won Arizona in 2020. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays says those pardons will not impact the state's ongoing case against the group because the president has only pardon power in federal cases. And President Trump says he is weighing the idea of issuing $2,000 checks to Americans that would be paid with revenues generated by global tariffs. His payment is part of his defense as he tries to keep those tariffs intact as the U.S. Supreme Court decides if he exceeded his powers by ordering those tariffs without legislative approval. The president says everyone except for high-income people would be eligible for the checks. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said the priority will be paying down the national debt, adding the stimulus could come in several forms.
Could be just the tax decreases that we are seeing on the president's agenda. You know, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of auto loans.
Congressional approval would likely be required before tariff revenue checks could be distributed to Americans. And President Trump thinks creating a 50-year mortgage will give more people an opportunity to become homeowners. The idea is to lower monthly payments for people buying in. But not everyone thinks that's a good idea. Fox 10's Steve Nielsen spoke with economists about the long-term effects for those potential buyers.
Can we talk to you guys? With a whiteboard, I asked those hoping for a bright future, college students. Can we talk to you? Do you think you'll be a homeowner? So do you think you'll ever own a home?
I don't know. It's my dream. I don't care if it's really small, like a casita. I really like little homes.
Nationally, there's a lot of reasons many are not buying homes. Inventory, high upfront costs, interest rates, wages. Now President Donald Trump has floated a 50-year mortgage as a way to bring in more buyers. Nicole is not on board. That's a lot more interest, but lower monthly payments. What do you think?
Girl, bye.
The Federal Housing Finance Agency director called it a game changer, though. But many industry analysts disagree. Joel Berner, a senior economist at Realtor.com, says it may not bring in more buyers.
I don't think there are a ton of people who, for them, the difference between buying a home and not buying a home is the $200 a month that they would save.
At the state level, we checked in with Cindy Reddy, the president of the Arizona Association of Realtors, at her listing in the Biltmore Estates, a 2-bed, 2-bath. Finding cheaper homes is just hard for a first-time buyer. A 50-year mortgage might help some.
It could be an option and it could be a piece of the puzzle, but it may not be the ultimate solution.
We crunched some preliminary numbers for a $400,000 mortgage. Keep in mind, interest rates can change, as can a down payment, but on average, you'd pay $230 less a month. But in the end, you'd pay an extra $425,000 in interest.
If you look at the numbers and you really want to sit down with a professional lender and take a look at those numbers, it's really a small amount per month that you're going to be saving.
And that was Fox 10's Steve Nielsen reporting. Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte says the Trump administration is also working on ways to offer relief to people with mortgages that run shorter than the conventional 30 years. And let's go to weather as we take a look at how things are changing. And Rosemary Roscoe checking out how things look along the West Coast.
Yes, along the West Coast, it's actually been unseasonably warm, Claudine. But let's first start in areas of Arizona, where we have a freeze warning that begins in the overnight hours and will go until 9 o'clock tomorrow. It is on the eastern edge there, you can see, of Tucson, and it is in the valleys. If we squeeze a little bit closer, includes areas like Safford, Benson, all the way to the Mexico line there. This, again, will be for the overnight hours. Now, despite that very cold air expected for tomorrow morning, this is what Phoenix had this afternoon, upper 80s with mostly sunny skies, and along the West Coast, unseasonably warm as well. Los Angeles, 92. That's not even the warmest. We saw Woodland Hills hit 96. So a very hot day over Southern California and Northern California, also enjoying some very unseasonably warm weather. San Francisco this afternoon coming in at 77. Temperatures will begin to dip, although still a beautiful day for most. As we head into Veterans Day Tuesday, this ridge of high pressure that is responsible for the dry, unseasonably warm weather is starting to break down. And by Wednesday, a system dropping out of the Gulf of Alaska, tapping into some moisture here, atmospheric river we like to call it, going to bring wet weather to the west. So here's a view of tomorrow night. We still are enjoying the pleasant weather over areas of the west side of the country. By Wednesday night into Thursday, things start to change. Here's a look at the evening hours. Thursday right now looks like it's going to be messy. In addition to wet weather, we've got windy weather coming to the west, and we have mountain snow expected as well. A little bit of a break for some on Friday as this continues to push into the desert southwest. Another system on its heels bringing wet weather to the Pacific Northwest for the start of the weekend. Here's a look at Seattle this afternoon. 59 degrees, mostly cloudy skies and scattered showers falling over the Pacific Northwest. We'll get a little bit of a break tomorrow, but it doesn't last, as we do expect that wet weather to return into Wednesday. Meanwhile, temperatures are going to take a huge drop in California, going from upper 70s in San Francisco to low 60s by Thursday. Meanwhile, Los Angeles, again, we showed you widespread 90s today, especially for the valleys, going to sink into the upper 60s. Meanwhile, Phoenix, still going to be a warm one. We've got partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the 80s all the way through Thursday. Claudine?
All right. Thank you, Rosemary. Well, ByHeart baby formula that is part of a voluntary recall has been removed from store shelves. The Fox station in Seattle checked local stores, finding cans with Best Buy dates in November and January, but none from the recalled December batch. The recall comes after tests found some cans tested positive for botulism. Over the weekend, the FDA and CDC confirmed at least 83 cases of infant botulism since August, including one case where the baby had to be hospitalized in Washington.
Unfortunately, it's not just a recall. There are 13 infants sickened, most likely all still in the hospital.
Now, botulism is rare, but it's serious, and symptoms can appear up to 7 weeks after feeding. So parents are being urged to throw out or just return the formula, clean all surfaces, and watch for signs like weak muscles or difficulty swallowing. While it's treatable, there's no test for early detection. And it may still be months away, but excitement is already growing and the countdown has officially begun. More on what Santa Clara in California has unveiled today. And the chase lasted for hours, but when it ended, the driver escaped capture. How the woman behind the wheel of this stolen minivan was able to get away. In tonight's NFC West update, the Seahawks and the Rams are set to battle for first place in the division next Sunday. The Seahawks beat the Cardinals yesterday, and that puts the team tied with the Rams for first place in the NFC West. Both have 7-2 records right now, and on Sunday they'll face each other in Los Angeles to determine which team is number one in the division. And FIFA World Cup matches are coming to Los Angeles, Seattle, and the San Francisco Bay Area next summer. And today, an official countdown clock was unveiled on the campus of Santa Clara University. And KTVU's Anna Rubin shows us more of how anticipation is building for the international event.
World Cup. In Santa Clara, they're counting down the hours until next summer's FIFA World Cup. And while the matches are still a long way off, FIFA fever is already here.
It's exciting. I want to get a ticket, but it's hard and expensive, so I've been working towards that. We'll see if I get it.
Either way, city leaders want the community to get in on the fun. They're starting with this activation on the Santa Clara University campus.
We're trying to really focus, especially on our young population in Santa Clara, to bring them all together, and especially the ones that won't be able to afford to go to the games.
In the works, everything from concerts to cultural events. They're planning night markets, 10Ks, STEM bowls, and watch parties too.
Sporting events unite us wherever we come. And of course, football or soccer is, the world sport. And so this is just, our students are really excited about it, and that means our whole community is very excited about it.
They're hoping to engage die-hard soccer fans and casual ones.
I'm not exactly a huge soccer fan, but I'm definitely looking forward to it because of all the extra activities.
I like the camaraderie it brings as well as the competition, so I'm ready for all the pre-games, the tailgates, the parties.
And the memories. Santa Clara Mayor Lisa Gilmore says she'll never forget the '94 World Cup and watching Brazil scrimmage with Santa Clara University students. She's hoping a new generation will get those experiences now.
30, 40 years from now, they're going to be able to tell their grandchildren, I was here. I was in Santa Clara in 2026. I was part of that history.
The World Cup countdown clock will move around a bit over the next few months. One of its next stops will be at Santa Clara's tree lighting ceremony on December 5th. Incidentally, that's the same day that Santa Clara will find out which World Cup teams it will be hosting next summer. In Santa Clara, Ann Rubin, KTVU Fox 2 News.
And finally tonight, a pursuit that spanned 4 Southern California counties ended today after the suspect crossed the border into Mexico. Investigators say they started chasing a minivan reported stolen in Ventura County, northwest of Los Angeles. That pursuit went on for hours through Los Angeles, Orange, and San Diego counties until the van moved into Mexico. So far, the female driver has eluded law enforcement. It's unclear whether authorities will pursue extradition. Thanks for joining us tonight. That's going to do it for us, but you can stay up to date on all of the stories that we are covering online. Just go to westcoastwrap.com and stream all of our shows on your smart TV by downloading the Fox local app. Have a great night, everyone.